Owen Paterson.
I rise to speak in this chamber for the first time since my wife's suicide in June last year, and I would like to thank you and the Speaker personally, and the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition, and many other honourable and right honourable members from right around the House for the tremendous messages of support and condolence that you have sent me. So it is no great pleasure I stand to speak at the time of the UK's biggest humiliation since Suez, at the time of the US's biggest humiliation since Saigon. And the mood of the House is so different. I remember when the Taliban were evicted and the Labour government went in with all-party support, apart from some very prescient comments by people like the late Sir Peter Tapsell, the then member for Louth and Horncastle, but we all supported this. We supported it because we believed in nation building and we believed in keeping terrorists at arm's length after 9/11, a very long way away from our streets. There was then this period of very intense military activity, but we ended up with a sort of muddled, messy Afghanisation in recent years. The Afghan army has fought incredibly bravely. 70,000 of them died, supported by us and very much the Americans technically from the air. And President Biden drew a completely false choice. It was not between total immersion of American forces and loss of American lives, which will do him damage in the midterms, or pulling out. He could have carried on with 4,500 American troops and sophisticated air support. And that sent a message to every Afghan army unit that they could, if they were in real trouble, they could call up American support. When it was announced they were going, it sent a real message to the Taliban. You're safe, boys. Take every village, take every town, because the American Air Force is not coming after you. So it is frankly shameful that the President of the United States, the leader of the free world, cannot face questions from his own hostile press corps and attacks the Afghan army for cowardice.
Absolutely.
And where we are now is in a mess. We've got China, Russia, Iran, hostile. What are we going to say to citizens in Taiwan, in India, Pakistan, Western Ukraine? They will all be worried. And the UK has a real role. Our review recently was worthless. We now have to cope with a weak American president. And the UK leading the G7, as the Prime Minister said this morning, has to step up. Yeah. We have to review the review. We have to see how we handle this. And I have to pay tribute to our armed forces in the short time I have left. I'm very proud to represent the 1 Royal Irish Regiment based at Turnhill, my constituency. I also saw them when I was Secretary of State in Northern Ireland. When Flanagan Valley mentioned those funerals, I was there for 3 of them. And they are very proud of what they did, and we should remember what these veterans did. They did bring women's rights. A concrete building in southern Afghanistan was turned from an ammunition dump into a children's school. So we should remember them. We should remember the pressures they're under now. These images for these veterans will be shocking. And combat stress have had a doubling of applications for help in the last few days. They already look after 15 to 16,000. We can all help. The government can help through the NHS and the MOD, who contribute 25% of their funds. Every one of us, every constituent, could help combat stress now. This is in our hands. I entirely endorse the comments about interpreters and getting other people out, but these are our citizens. Every time they look at the screen, the horrors of their experience in Afghanistan will come back, and we owe it to those veterans. We owe it to them now to go out and look after them.
Yeah, yeah.